All right, so tell me about this book, Seniors Sign 2. How is it different from maybe a standard ASL book that you may receive like in a college class or a high school class that you're teaching?
Okay. Well, culturally is different because you have a hearing person who has a passion and love for the deaf community and using their language. It's their language.
Right.
And so what made it unique also is important to us and Sign With Me to connect with someone in the deaf community. Who better to teach the language than a native user? Okay. And so we reached out and took a poll and took in sample works from different illustrators, and we chose one who lives in Belgium.
Oh, okay. The illustrator?
Yes.
Okay.
So that brought the collaboration, hearing and deaf. Get it? Hear. Zero, hearing and deaf, coming together to show collaboration. Okay. And so that's one way that is different. Another way that is different, we know language is for all ages. Yes. But there's very few people that are focusing on our senior demographic.
Right. Okay.
And so it's different in that when you open that book, you see seniors, you see children, you see people of all different ethnicities. You get an alphabet, you get a sight word, and you get a nostalgic memory. We want our seniors, when they look in the book, that they see themselves, that they have a smile, something that would make them laugh while learning. We want to make ASL learning fun.
It almost looks like a really fun, colorful a comic book.
It does.
In a way.
And he's a cartoonist, so he has that spin on the artwork, and it's beautiful. And then, of course, the flashcards mirror the alphabet and the vocabulary.
Yes. So when you get this book, by the way, as you're listening here, it starts out with an 88th birthday celebration, by the way, which I love that. Okay. And so you learn some basic words in here. Like you're learning, well, first of all, you're learning the alphabet to begin with. That's what mainly this one focuses on. This book focuses on the alphabet.
Then you get a word, 26 words or vocabulary words that have been handpicked by me that's specific to the senior experience daily. And so each book in that series will focus on vocabulary specific. So our next book is going to be released in September, and it's going to be on who do you love? Family. So we'll be focusing on category signs, and they'll learn signs related to family, mother, father, sister, brother. So they'll get category signs in each one of the book series. So
this is how the series will progress. And if you just joined us, you are listening to A Passion for Christ. I'm Donna Rusch. My guest is Dr. Elaine. She is founder and executive director of Sign With Me. It's a nonprofit organization with a passion for bridging the communication gap with the deaf and the hard of hearing. And we're talking about this new series of books that she has coming out along with flashcards that's really targeted at those of us 55 and older. And so to help us, be the next generation, boomers and beyond, of signers and of all different levels to really kind of bridge that gap. We'll talk about all the different ways this is going to be so helpful. So this original book that we were just talking about, you were talking about this first book, which I love, that I'm thumbing through, teaches you the alphabet, which I actually know the alphabet. I can remember as a child, I was at my grandmother's house and I got really bored, so bored that I pulled out the encyclopedia. And all of a sudden, I saw the chart for learning the alphabet. I learned how to do that. A, B, C, D, E, F. See, I can still remember.
Great.
Okay, H, I, J, K. I remember all of that.
Excellent.
But this book teaches that. But then, as you said, like for A, you learn the letter A, and then you learn a word. Age in this instance. Yes.
And think of pulling on the old man's beard.
Yes, I see that. So this book goes with words that are important in this age category. Confuse, for example, for the letter C. Doctor for the letter D. Exercise for E. So brilliant, the words that you've chosen. And as this series continues, then you will just, like you said, branch out into family words and things such as this. So I've got to think about this, is that can learning this as well be a big way to even stemming cognitive decline and things such as that?
That's
what are benefits?
A great question. I mean, I'm glad that you're even thinking that.
Yeah.
And so what happens is we know that as the brain continues to be stimulated and exercised, then that learning through sign language increases that cognitive and memory recall. So if we're able to do that, we're keeping the mind alive. And so by doing that, it then puts a stake in the road that says, dementia, you got to stop here.
Amen.
Alzheimer's, you have to stop here because you're keeping that mind alive.
Yes. And I'm also thinking, as older people start to lose their hearing and stuff, isn't that a great factor in increasing isolation?
Yes, indeed. So let's go back to your father and your mom.
Yeah.
Imagine, in general, if the person who's trying to communicate with the person who's losing their hearing, oftentimes they're getting frustrated.
Yeah.
And there's a level of frustration where they kind of back off and they say, that person's being ornery, or they don't want to listen. But from the person who's experiencing it, they get frustrated, more importantly, and then unfortunately they start to retreat a little bit as well. And that's where that isolation, I don't want to go to family functions because I don't want to wear my hearing aid, and I don't want to go through this tedious exchange, struggle with the exchange to communicate. And so they want to stay home. So you get that isolation and wanting to stay away from others.
Yeah.
And then things start shutting down. When you feel isolated, what kicks in? Depression.
Yeah. All kinds of things.
All kinds of things.
Yes. So I'm thinking about this and its application in different places where there are seniors, such as nursing homes, or what else? What are you hoping that this will accomplish, and how it can be accomplished, I guess, in just increasing communication between, everyone, not just in the home, but in hospitals and nursing centers and wherever people need to communicate, where there can just be a deficit there of some sort?
Wow, that's great. Thank you for asking that. What we see, first of all, is this book in the hands of every senior nationwide. And we're starting right here in our city, our greater Los Angeles area. We want to be able to have, because we're a nonprofit, we want to be able to see organizations sponsor books or donate books that we can give away free to our senior centers, to our senior population and where they are.
Got it.
We want families to be able to receive the training in the classes with the senior and with their CNAs. So we want to ultimately create a community of signers that build support around that senior. Them alone, they can't do it. It's going to take a family buy-in, a family commitment to say, okay, organization, entity, we care about our seniors. We want to bring in your family. We want to pay and bring in the training. At the end of the day, we want to make sure our seniors have the book in hand as a welcome package or a thank you, whatever the case may be, given out at your events, getting this word out, because the knowledge of it is actually increasing and extending life.
Yes. And then once you have this book, so how can people do that? So let's say there is somebody listening right now who has someone in a nursing home, or there's a senior center director right now listening right now, and they're thinking, well, how do I sponsor this, or how do I get this in the hands of my seniors and the workers there who could, if a senior learns the word, doctor or whatever it is, bathroom or whatever, how the person that's working there can understand what they're saying to them as well, because it's got to be the worker, the caretaker, as well as the senior learning these things.
Well, there's several ways.
Sure.
If you're an individual and you just want to buy the book for your family member and start that family engagement, you can purchase the books through our website at www.signwithme.org. It's also on the platforms of Amazon, Lulu Press, and Barnes & Noble.
Got it.
If you are a worker, or maybe you want, as a family member, your senior center to host a class for its seniors, go ahead and talk to that director and have them reach out to us.
Great.
They can email us at contact@signwithme.org, or they can call us directly at area code 310-362-8290, and we'll be happy to customize a class specifically for that group. If you are an organization and you want to, whether you're a church or a school or a hospital or nursing facility or a senior center or even city and county agency, and you would like to provide the books for these individuals, that's something you can do as well, with branding inside of our books for sponsors and partners is an opportunity to consider as well.
And what's really cool about this book, too, is that I noticed that there's a QR code in here, so you can get the flashcards just by scanning a QR code. So that's just kind of a little bonus.
Yeah, and
right?
soon, once we have the videos completed, you'll have a QR code in the book to be able to scan and see a link, get a free link to a visual video representation of the content in each book. So each book would have its own QR code for the videos. But we need that support. All of you sponsors out there, corporate sponsors, we need you.
Yes, family sponsors. You have a heart for, just, a ministry of ASL.
It is
really.
a ministry.
It is a ministry, yeah. Be sure and get with signwithme.org and contact Deanne, Elaine with this. I'm thinking, okay, so I want to learn ASL from this book. So let's say that you hear somebody listening, or what then? What do you do then? You've kind of learned this. What do you do?
In terms of the entry point to learning?
Yeah. What if you've learned? Let's say you go and then this is just sparks your interest and you've learned more and more. What are the opportunities for people who really get fired up and get into this? Yes, ASL.
You're right, because we basically provide a cursory, basic, fundamental entry level.
Sure.
But for those individuals that would like to continue and pursue, we're partnered with other agencies and individuals that teach sign language, from like deaf to our hard of hearing to our hearing. You get to choose who you would like your instructor to be. And so we're connected with other resources that we can refer you. So it's not, everything's not happening at Sign With Me. We can only do so much. And this is our lane. But then we have partners, and we're looking for more that can not only teach our classes, but also be able to provide their services that they want to expand and make available.
I always wonder, because I know that you also perform. I don't know if that's what it's called, perform, like at concerts and things such that when you are signing a song, is there something different about you? And is it the face and the body language, or what? Is that different? That's kind of
all
different.
Of that. Because expression is part of ASL grammar.
Oh, I see.
So that's where your statements, your punctuation, your commas, your exclamation points, your size, your questions in your eyes going up and down. So all of that plays a part in actually the structure of the language. So when people see deaf people signing or even interpreters signing, sometimes they conclude that they must be upset or they're over emotive. No, it's actually part of the grammar and the language.
Wow, that's fascinating. Thanks for clarifying that with me, because some people just have more of that about them. I don't even know the word for it, but just very animated. And
it
just,
seems animated, but it's grammatical.
But it's the grammatical. Good to know. And finally, just a few moments here. I'd just love, do you have a heartwarming story of success that you've witnessed, perhaps, through ASL?
Wow. Yes, absolutely. Okay, obviously, me teaching every day and teaching levels 1, 2, and 3 for my K through 12, my high school students, I had an opportunity where a deaf young lady who is getting ready to graduate from Cal State University Northridge. And she came across a kind of a block with her education, because to finish her capstone project, she had to present it. They didn't have access to anyone she could present to. Someone reached out to me, and we were able to accommodate her to come in and give her presentation. And to see my students being able to understand and communicate with her was amazing. That's on the education side. But on the Senior Sign 2 side, hearing the stories, one young lady who's a senior, her husband had a trach, spent the last quarter of his days, I would say the last several months, not able to communicate. And her not being able to understand. And she saw my book and she said, I needed this book. I wish I had this book when that happened to my husband, so that we could communicate. He died, spent his last days in frustration. And I felt really horrible about that. And so it's those types of stories that, knowing that our book is a solution and providing a way to make that connection is amazing to me.
Well, thank you for doing that. Thank you for your idea, not just having an idea, but bringing it into fruition.
To God be the glory.
Thank you. All right. So that you've been listening to A Passion for Christ, and my guest is Dr. Deanne Elaine. She is founder and executive director of Sign With Me, and she's got this passion for just bridging the gap with the deaf and the hard of hearing. So for more information, on this. It's really a ministry. In her book, Seniors Sign To, just go to signwithme.org, and you can get all of that information that you need, and you can find a way to get in touch with Deanne. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Donna.
All right.
It's been so amazing being here today.
I'm Donna Rusch. Thanks for joining us for A Passion for Christ here on 99.5 KKLA.
You've been listening to A Passion for Christ, sponsored by 99.5 KKLA. Tune in again next week at this same time for another intimate glimpse at what God is stirring in the hearts of Southern California's pastors, here on A Passion for Christ.